A reminder, the news does not end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m. President Trump making his first public comments about that second stabbing on the light rail just a few days ago.
What's happening in North Carolina? Two of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte.
How he's pushing for more Republican representation and Mayor Lyle's exclusive response with WCNC Charlotte.
Coming up, a closer look at CAT's policy to keep high-risk riders off of buses and trains. After last week's light rail stabbing, why employees say the system may not be working.
The CMS board now welcoming 4 new members, how their top priorities will impact your child's safety and education.
And you might want to start shipping out your holiday gifts.
The latest day you can ship to get it there on time. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, another check on those roads before you go. This is I-77 there in South Carolina. Not seeing any significant delays, but of course, more people are awake, making their morning commute. We have our typical delays. That one stalled vehicle, but our newest wreck is going to be right here. I-85 northbound near Little Rock Road. We'll have more on that coming up on WCNC Plus. Chris.
It's a little bit warmer today, but windy is the word of the day. A windy Wednesday, occasional gusts getting up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. Chillier for your Thursday and Friday. But hey, back to 60 degrees before we see another cool down, and then back to the 50s next Tuesday. So kind of a kiddie roller coaster going on here.
Pin down those Christmas inflatables.
Yes. For sure.
Before they end up 2 towns over. We don't want that.
All right, join us on WCNC Plus.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start this hour with a check on your forecast. It's chilly outside. Our temperatures are getting up to the 50s, but we need to be aware of the wind today, Chris.
Yeah, and excellent intro to this, because that's the one thing I want everyone to note for today, the winds. Because so many times, say whatever weather app you go on, you don't really factor in the wind sometimes. So it might look on the surface, hey, 52 degrees, on and off sunshine, not too bad. But no, the winds kind of take it down a notch, and the winds will gust anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. So as far as our inflatable alert goes, down the street is possibilities for all three of these characters you see here, the Rudolphs and beyond. I guess we're gonna go on to traffic. So Majestic, okay, never mind, that was a tease. Okay, I was gonna say, well, what's happening? All right, well, let's move on with our forecast. We are looking at a tame start to the day traffic-wise. We'll get to Majestic in just 1 second. Love that jam, by the way. Calm winds right around the I-40 corridor, dealing with a little bit more frost. Then we have a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind for the time being, but already seeing some gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. That was recorded over the last hour around Lincolnton. I think that number could be doubled a little bit later on. Check it out. Our Futurecast wind gust showing as early as 11 a.m., gusting to around 30 miles per hour, and we'll see on and off gusts anywhere from about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Seeing here right around Lincolnton between about noon to 5 o'clock, and then they eventually start to calm down slightly, but we're still seeing on and off gusts to 25 miles per hour. So that's why we mentioned the inflatables. It's not like, oh, okay, by the time you get to the time that they're going to be inflated. No, it's actually going to still remain gusts to 25. So that could hinder some of these, allowing some of them to take flight if they're not properly anchored down. Keep that in mind. You can still make adjustments now because it's not overly breezy. 36 degrees, that is our current temperature right now. 31 right around Shelby and 31 in Hickory. It's typically around this time of year, under most circumstances, that we hit our low temperature right around sunrise. Well, today is different. We actually hit our low temperature about 5 hours ago. We've had a strong push of winds out of the southwest, which is actually greeting us with some warmer air. That's going to be a nice help. Where over the last 3 days, we've been in the lower 40s. Today's a nice little upgrade to the lower 50s, but I had to mention the winds just because it will make you feel chillier on and off throughout the day. Wall-to-wall sunshine by tomorrow, so it's a beautiful day, but still highs only in the upper 40s. Back to 60 degrees, though, for my pick of the week on Saturday. It doesn't get much better than that. As far as our winter weather concerns are, we do have a winter weather advisory here for the North Carolina mountains starting at 1 o'clock until 10 a.m. So the next time you see me here, coming up within the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to break down the snow potential, how much could fall here, the timing of everything, and if any precipitation reaches the Charlotte area. I'll see you soon, but now it is time for traffic with Majestic Storm.
Good morning, everyone. Well, let's get you going for that morning commute. Want to show you some of our traffic cameras. Of course, we're still monitoring icy and slick spots out in the mountains. Look at how pretty it is. What a nice, peaceful, and quiet start to the day. They're in Blowing Rock right now on this street. At least we're just seeing those really slick and icy sidewalks, driveways. Keep this in mind. I've seen some plows still go through, dropping some salt, helping to kind of keep those roads treated, because yesterday we actually got some sunshine, melting some of that snow, and then it refroze overnight. It's a similar setup over there in Boone. Meanwhile, a little closer to Charlotte, not seeing those impacts, and honestly, traffic has been very quiet this morning. Hopefully, we can keep it that way. I-77 coming in from South Carolina. No big problems there. Not seeing a ton of fog either. We do still have our typical delays with that red in place, mainly on I-77, I-85, but nothing significant. One crash right here, still not completely cleared. It's on I-85 northbound near Little Rock Road. Guys?
Majestic, thanks. This morning we're hearing from President Trump as he makes his first public comments about that second stabbing on Charlotte's light rail in just a matter of months. The president once again pointing the finger at Democrats in the wake of the incident. We brought you the speech first here on WCNC Plus. The president brought up the recent incident while pushing for more Republican representation across the state, voicing support for Republican Senate candidate Michael Whatley. Take a listen.
What's happening in North Carolina? Two of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte. And it's all run by the Democrats. What's going on there? The young lady from Ukraine, you saw that one where a guy from behind just cut her throat on tape. Can't even watch it. What's going on in North Carolina? You need a Republican running that, and you've got to have a Republican senator elected. If you don't, and Michael Whatley's running, he's going to be great.
Now, during the speech, the president misspoke when he referred to 2 murders, classifying the latest stabbing as a homicide. That victim is still in the hospital with those injuries. The public comments came just days after President Trump tweeted about the city's leadership following the crime. I sat down with Mayor Vi Lyles for an exclusive interview where she responded to his claims. The president tweeted the other day, another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. Your reaction?
My reaction is that I think the president has the opportunity to tweet about anything that's done. But for me, my reaction is, what do we do for this city? What do we do immediately for this city? I mean, you probably know our council is looking very hard at what we would do. And so I want to fulfill the idea of safety as a #1 initiative this year.
As Mayor Lyles said, City Council is headed back to the drawing board to find more ways to increase safety on the light rail. Meanwhile, we are taking a closer look at the system already in place meant to keep those considered high risk off Katz property. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning in South Charlotte with details on a system that some say is falling short. Destiny.
Good morning. That system is the Katz exclusion policy, which on paper is designed to keep dangerous, high-risk riders off of buses and trains. But we're learning after this recent stabbing that the biggest challenge with that policy may be how the bans are tracked and enforced in real time. Now, the Katz exclusion policy outlines when and how someone can be banned from transit property, ranging from 6-month suspensions to year-long or even indefinite bans for assaults, weapons violations, and other violent crimes. According to police reports, the man accused in last Friday night's light rail stabbing, Oscar Solorzano, was already banned from Katz property. Advocates and employees say the issue isn't the policy itself, it's whether that information reaches the people working on the system.
They don't know who's been banned. They have no way of having real-time notifications other than what is listed there in the driver room. We are experiencing a lot of violent attacks by riders who have recently been banned, and so therefore there's a pattern.
Current and former Katz employees tell us photos of some banned riders are posted for staff, but there's no consistent system-wide way to identify everyone who's supposed to be kept off the system, especially on the light rail. Now, we have asked Katz for more information about that ban list, including how many people are on it at this time. But as of this morning, we are still waiting for answers. I'll send it back to you live here from South Charlotte.
All right, Destiny Richards reporting live for us. Destiny, thank you. With the light rail riders on edge, we wanted to know what the everyday experience is for those of you who take public transit on a daily basis. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to have a closer look at what we saw after a day there on the Blue Line. 7:08 right now here on WCNC Plus. It's the season of giving, and you still have 5 days to donate to WCNC Charlotte's Magical Toy Drive. For 25 years now, we have partnered with the Salvation Army to help bring holiday joy to local families. The group also collects.
The Salvation Army has 27 locations in the Charlotte area. You can ring a bell and spread some holiday cheer by becoming a volunteer, and they say it's simple.
A bell. That means more than just the sound it makes.
It is a tradition. Every year someone will say to me, it is not Christmas until I see the kettles.
This year, the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign means a lot more.
Whether it's a loss of benefits or loss of a job, crisis that they're going through within their family, people are just struggling. And I think what this campaign does is it helps to raise the funds to, like I said, not only support the holiday season, which is what a lot of people are focused on, but also going in the beginning of the year.
The campaign supports year-round programs such as shelters and youth organizations. In 2024, the Salvation Army served more than 29,000 people.
If you're looking to do more than just donate, Major Andrew Wiley tells me the process of becoming a volunteer is simple.
Well, if folks want to get involved and ring the bell, they go to registertoring.com. And when they go in and log into that site, it's all zip code driven. So they'll find what locations we have. They'll be able to see the schedules, the available time slots. They can sign up for what they're available to do.
The Salvation Army needs volunteers for other programs as well. Last year, more than 5,700 people volunteered with them. When it comes to the Red Kettle, even if you're not in an area with one in sight, there are still ways to donate.
You can scan the QR codes, you can go to the website. There are digital ways to give. I also like to tell people, like on a day like today when it's cold, if you don't want to get out, you can go to our website and click on the links there. You can give from the comfort of your recliner.
To learn more on how to become a volunteer or where to go to sign up, visit our WCNC mobile app. In Charlotte, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
And a reminder, you can bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday. For more information, you can scan that QR code on your screen.
President Trump touting his economic vision, but are voters buying the message? You'll hear from everyday Americans on the affordability crisis facing the nation. Time is now 7:13. Nearly 7.7 million jobs were opened in the U.S. in October. That's according to federal data. It's a slight increase from the prior 2 months. Analysts say hiring dropped, layoffs rose, and fewer people quit their jobs. The government shutdown made it harder to get the complete economic information during that period. Today, the Federal Reserve is set to announce its next move on interest rates. President Trump sold his vision of the economy to a crowd in Pennsylvania last night. That campaign-style event comes as most Americans remain concerned about the high cost of living.
NBC's Alice Barr has more on the president's vision and what Pennsylvania voters have to say.
President Trump in battleground Pennsylvania overnight for a campaign-style rally focused on the economy and a new rallying call.
Lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it.
That as recent polls show voters unhappy with stubbornly high prices and unsatisfied with the president's progress to bring them down, while in a new interview he gave himself high marks on his economy.
A plus, 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 plus.
Sure, yeah.
See, that's even laughable.
NBC's Garrett Hake asked Pennsylvania voters for their take.
The prices in here are crazy, but like I said, the 401ks are going up. You know, so it's a mixed bag.
If the election were tomorrow, would you vote for him again?
No.
Because of his affordability?
Right.
Big picture, gas prices are falling below $3 a gallon on average, but grocery prices are up more than 1% since January. hitting staples like beef, orange juice, and coffee hard. President Trump laying the blame on Democrats and his predecessor.
We're repairing 4 years of disaster.
As the road to next year's critical midterm election starts heating up, with control of Congress on the line. Overnight, another victory for Democrats projected to win Miami's mayoral race for the first time in nearly 3 decades. The race focused on affordability, shaping up as the central issue for voters. The Federal Reserve set to announce today whether to cut interest rates for the 3rd straight time, with economists broadly predicting a 1/4 point cut to give a boost amid economic anxieties and signs of job market weakness, though it also risks worsening inflation. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
If you're in the market for a new car but thought prices were too high, experts warn they might not be getting any better anytime soon. Tariffs, changes in fuel efficiency rules, and falling interest rates are all playing a role in pushing car costs up. Experts say people who haven't purchased a car in the last, say, 6 or 7 years will likely be surprised by the current cost of them.
I think for a lot of people, you almost kind of have to unlearn everything prior to your car purchase from last time, because everything has changed. You bought pre-COVID, you were looking at vehicle prices closer to $38,000 to $39,000. Right now, that 49, that 50, that's sticker shock. That is very jarring.
Car buyers often shop based on their anticipated monthly payment, with roughly 80% of new car sales financed. That's according to Experian. Nearly a fifth of new cars now have monthly payments of $1,000 or more.
A new year means new goals, and many Americans are focusing on money and well-being. A new survey of 2,000 people shows the top resolutions for 2026 are saving more and exercising more. Nearly half of those surveys say the biggest barrier is not having enough money. That financial hurdle could make it harder to stick to the resolutions. As 2026 begins, many people may struggle to balance ambition with reality. The Powerball jackpot has grown to an estimated $930 million, with the cash option roughly $429 million. That's after there were no jackpot winners in Monday night's drawing. The jackpot remains the 2nd highest of the year and the 7th highest in history. The next Powerball drawing is set for tonight.
Oreos are going sugar-free, and they're here to stay. Stay with us to find out what's driving the new sweet trend.
Good morning, everybody. So getting right to it, well, our flu index, I don't know how that popped up on me. We have a winter weather advisory that goes from 1 o'clock today until 10 a.m. on Thursday. That is going to be the biggest deal in the near term. And it looks like really, I would say during this evening, heading up to the early morning hours, that we're going to have the best chance for accumulating snow. And actually, as we learned from Becca's Weather IQ, that likely we'll hear from a little bit later on, it's usually right along the Tennessee border where we have the tallest mountaintops that we usually have the biggest snow, because we have something that's called orographic lifting. Literally, you have winds out of the northwest that drive up moisture that eventually condenses into some snow with some chillier temperatures. So let's get right to it. Our futurecast for those outside of the mountains, we're going to see on and off sunshine throughout the day. Right now, we're dealing with a decent sunny sky, but don't be surprised if early this afternoon some thick clouds roll back in. Today's a day that you can go from a clear sky to a cloudy sky back to a partly cloudy sky. I think the skies are constantly changing, but I definitely think that sunshine is winning out today. Once you get to about 1 to 4 o'clock, that's where we have a wintry mix for the high country, and then it's really between about 4 and 8 I think all that really changes over to some accumulating snow. As of right now, it really looks about 7 to 2 a.m. is going to be the heaviest bands of snow. This is showing a general range of about 1 to 3 inches, but I am letting you know, I think above 4,000 feet, that it's not out of the realm of possibility to get about 3 to 5 inches. So it could be a decent coating of snow for Beech Mountain, Sugar Mountain, some of the higher elevations. By 7 o'clock tomorrow, I think we just have some lingering flurries that are blowing around. That's also another thing to bring up because of the winds. Wind gusts could be as high as 40 miles per hour as that front is passing later on tonight. That means blowing snow, so not great conditions whatsoever. When winds are, by the way, sustained at 35 miles per hour and the visibility is down by a quarter mile or less, it's technically a blizzard. We don't have quite blizzard conditions, but still not great. One thing to point out that I didn't really get to over on WCNC Plus is it looks like we could have another burst of snow. That's Thursday night to Friday. This one looks to be maybe a dusting to a coating of snow, but it works its way a little bit further off towards the east. So I think that spots like Statesville and Salisbury, not out of the realm of possibility heading into Friday morning that you at least see some snowflakes. No big deal outside of that, but it will be a freezing start to the day. Once you get to the weekend, 60 degrees, that's the top, and then there's the bottom. Monday, high temperatures only in the upper 30s, and we're starting around 20. That would be and will be the coldest morning we've had so far this season. All right, there's the weather, traffic, anything we need to know about?
We have some new accidents I want to let you know about. Some that will likely impact your morning commute if you're out there in Gaston County. Look at this one. Lots of red starting to pop up. It's going to be a Brookshire Boulevard southbound at Lucia Riverbend Highway. What we know is that it's going to be right over the bridge. So remember, when we're dealing with such cold temperatures, we could have slick and icy spots out on those bridges. So make sure you're just slowing it down as you are traveling. That's not the only spot, though. It's going to be another one just south of it. Again, going over a bridge. This one is now labeled as a serious accident. Charlotte Ave, so Highway 27, that's east at Catawba River Bridge. It's backed up to North Hawthorne Street. Again, we're seeing that red and that orange, meaning that traffic is going to be delayed this morning out towards Mount Holly. And then once we head to the south, again, all three of these crashes in Gaston County. We have a lane that's closed because of a crash. I-85 northbound at exit 23. That's going to be right there on Main Street. So 3 big things happening right now in Gaston County. Bottom line, if you are traveling this morning and you have to cross a bridge, slow it down, because that's actually where we are seeing some icy spots.
Majestic thinks Oreos are getting a sugar-free makeover just in time for the new year. Starting in January, Oreo Zero Sugar and Oreo Double Stuffed Zero Sugar will hit U.S. shelves as permanent additions.
It's the first time the company has sold sugar-free Oreos here, though they're already popular in parts of Europe and China. The company, the maker, says people want mindful indulgence, and these cookies aim to deliver the same taste without the added sugar. The move follows a bigger trend towards healthier snacking, with more Americans choosing portion-controlled and wellness-focused options.
What do you guys think?
I like a little zero sugar addition. Why not? If you're trying to just kind of keep it a little lower, it probably won't taste exactly the same. But
When I want Oreos, I want Oreos.
Yeah, no.
But if you don't have control and you know you're going to eat like the whole roll, then maybe sugar-free might be a better option.
Do we know if the artificial sugar is really all that much better for you?
Again, I say just do it in moderation.
I'm just saying.
Some people don't have.
Did you know that a serving size for Oreos is just 2? If you look on the package, it just says 2.
I don't know
No
who
one
eats
can
just
do.
2.
Nobody can do that.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
Unrealistic.
We're skeptical.
I'll try it.
All right. We're going to take a break right now on WCNC Plus as we take you a live look right now over Uptown. Temperature right now 36 degrees.
Good morning. Good to see you. Temperatures in the lower 50s. Nice upgrade from the lower 40s that we've had 3 straight days. That sunshine will be upon us, but on and off throughout the day we'll have clouds pass, and it looks like the biggest story of today is it's a windy day. We're gonna have wind gusts about 15 to 25 and then 25 to 35 by the afternoon, even as much as 40 miles per hour. So Santa, Frosty, and Rudolph could all be down the street if they're not hunkered down. So maybe try to spend this morning trying to solidify any of those outside decorations. We also have winter weather alerts, and this is for the North Carolina mountains. That winter weather advisory starts at 1, goes until 10 a.m. for up to 1 to 3 inches of snow. We're cooler by tomorrow and Friday, but look at that, 60 degrees at the top. Monday's the coldest. Majestic, you have some incidents for this morning so far.
It's a busy morning for everyone commuting in Gaston County. We're following a few active crashes. This one here is right over the bridge. Slow it down as you're traveling on those bridges because it could get slick and icy. Brookshire Boulevard at Lucia Riverbend Highway, we're seeing about a 4-mile backup. That's if you are heading inbound there. Another one going over the bridge. This one's a serious accident. Highway 27 at Catawba River Bridge. It's backed up right now to North Hawthorne Street. Again, going over the bridge will be slick and icy. More on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning, we continue our coverage of that second stabbing on Charlotte's light rail. I sat down with the mayor for an exclusive interview, and for the first time, she says major structural changes may be needed on the city's train platforms to increase safety. Take a listen. Sounds like to me you're talking about sort of the difference between, I think, what they call open and closed platforms. In places like New York City or Washington, D.C., you have to go through a turnstile. You have to pay just to get on the platform. Here, it's a much more open system. People can come and go. And is that what you're talking about? We need to revisit?
Exactly. We need to revisit. If we're going to build new transit lines, and we are going to build one because we've committed that to the northern towns, we're going to have to build one that is already planned as a safe space to be.
Would that include retrofitting blue line stations too?
I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but we really are diving deeply into that conversation, and there will be some kind of assessment there.
The local GOP said that there should be closed platforms, but also that there should be a security guard on every train. Do you see that as feasible?
I think anything that we would do to make people feel safe, we're going to have to do it.
All right. City leaders say the new changes that the mayor just mentioned might be pricey, but necessary, and are asking the state General Assembly to pass a budget that might help. You can catch longer portions of that interview throughout the morning right here on WCNC Plus.
Now, you may remember back in October, Katz promised a number of additional safety measures following the death of Irina Zarutska in August. Those measures included the Katz security contractor doubling the number of personnel, as well as UTVs and bike patrols, and an increase in fare evasion checks. Many riders have told us they are not seeing those changes, at least not consistently. WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson rode the Blue Line from Woodlawn Station all the way to 25th Street. Now, during that trip, he says no UTVs, bike patrols, nor fare enforcement was seen on the train, and security was only visible on the platform at the Charlotte Transportation Center.
I only walk through here probably twice a day, but when I'm on here, I haven't seen any changes from what I'm used to.
Others told us they skipped buying tickets because no one checks. Now, even on that return trip, Walker says that they saw a single person in a neon vest on the train, but passengers were not asked to show their tickets. Meanwhile, the Mecklenburg County Republican Party is sharing concerns with how city leaders are handling news of the most recent stabbing on the line. Just this week, the city unveiling plans to spend more than $3 million on a public relations campaign promoting the light rail. Mecklenburg County GOP Chair Kyle Kirby joined us here on WCNC Plus last night. He called that campaign baffling, adding this money could go toward helping with rider safety.
It is possible for us as a city to control every ounce of crime or problems that go on in that system as a closed system. It's not like you can get off in between stations, and it's not like you should even be able to get on the platform in the first place if you don't have a ticket. So what this tells me is that even though taxpayers approved for the expansion of the light rail system, the city of Charlotte and Katz overall is still not taking the safety of these individuals seriously, because as a closed system, it is 100% possible for us to stop all crime on the light rail system.
Conversations like this happen throughout the day here on WCNC Plus. Right now, a junior at Archwick Hill High School is suing the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education after her message on the school's spirit rock was removed. Attorneys for the student say she was given permission to paint "Live Like Kirk, John 11:25" on that rock in September after the death of Charlie Kirk, but it was covered up within hours. The student and her parents claim the staff removed that message and publicly humiliated her and her friends who helped paint it. The lawsuit also argues her constitutional rights were violated. Now, you may remember Audrey Kell's principal initially called it vandalism, saying it violated school policy. CMS later walked that back, saying the message did not break any rules.
If you've been out to the U.S. National Whitewater Center recently, you may have noticed some very fuzzy, very friendly visitors grazing near the trails.
Highland cows, the iconic cattle from Scotland, are spending the winter right here in Charlotte. Meteorologist Becca Birdsall explains why they're becoming more popular here in North Carolina.
They look like 60s British rock stars. If you visited the U.S. National Whitewater Center lately, you may have spotted some shaggy, cinnamon-colored celebrities, the Highland Calves, and they'll be here through March. These calves call Lansing, North Carolina home in Ashe County at about 4,000 feet in the Highlands.
They call it the Highlands because it looks just like the Scottish Highlands. It's rocky, it's it's covered in pasture and grass.
Jeff Wise, cow caretaker at the Whitewater Center, explains that's exactly why this breed is becoming increasingly popular across western North Carolina. The climate is cool, breezy, and less harsh than Scotland, but still similar enough to feel like home. Unlike most cattle, Highland cows rely less on body fat to survive the cold.
They're not very fat cows. In other words, most people think of cows as having a lot of fat to keep them warm. They rely on their coat.
That signature coat has 2 layers, an inner downy layer for warmth and a long outer layer that acts like a waterproof shell. They even shed that inner layer in the summer so they can tolerate heat. Their famous bangs aren't just for style either.
It keeps them a little more protected so they don't have to deal with parasites and some of the insect issues that other cows deal with.
They're also famously friendly. Beyond being adorable, Highland cows are useful for maintaining natural spaces.
They're really well known for what's called conservation grazing.
Meaning they're picky eaters that naturally maintain pastures, woodlines, and mountain meadows without disturbing the landscape. And yes, they love treats.
They'll eat a Dorito, a Frito, a Cheeto if it's got an O in it. People are buying the treats and they're feeding them, and they will love for you to feed them.
Reporting at the Whitewater Center, Becca Birdsall, WCNC Charlotte.
That was awesome. Great job, Becca. Becca has had a lot of pieces in our newscast today. And we have a beautiful blue sky right now in Kannapolis, but if you look really closely, you see a little bit of white. Oh, the weather impact. There's still some right here. Oh, there's Becca. Hello. We are also looking at a little bit of frost that's on the grass, especially some of those elevated surfaces. And Charlotte Motor Speedway, all is well here. Nice to see that beautiful orb up in the sky. And that's going to melt away some of the frost that formed, but the winds are about to pick up. That's why we have an inflatables alert. Earlier this week, we had a weather alert. Now it's going to be inflatables alert just because of how gusty it's about to be. Frosty, I don't think it's going to be gone, but still some gusts up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour at the backs. Current winds right now, not too bad. I've seen a gust up to about 20 miles per hour around Lincolnton. That's been the top so far, so it's only just begun to be windy. Today's a windy Wednesday. That's the big thing you need to know about the forecast. The good news is winds out of the southwest are what is the biggest benefactor for warming our high temperatures up. That's why we're a little bit warmer by about 10 degrees today, and then we'll do it again on Saturday, getting us up close to 60 degrees. At least we have that. However, because we're still in the 50s and even rocking the 40s most of the day, that's going to give us a significant wind chill, especially when you're having the gust range from about 30 to 40 miles per hour, which, by the way, noon to 5 is the windiest time period that we have in the near term. And we're still staying gusty through this evening, and that's where it really affects some of the inflatables. Gust to about 25 to 30 still rocking, and then we'll keep the windy environment heading into your Thursday as well, but it gets a little bit better. 36 degrees right now in Charlotte, 30 degrees around Hickory. We hit our low temperature a little bit earlier in the morning. Those winds really started to blast in some relatively warmer air and kind of put a cap on our cool down. No complaints. But look where we've been, the lower 40s. 3 consecutive days, and then now we have the lower 50s, and going forward we're going to see a slight cool down, a little hiccup there in our warm up before we're back to 60 degrees. That is the top. That's my pick of the week, what I'm looking forward to most. We have a winter weather advisory only for the North Carolina mountains. That's from 1 p.m. today until 10 a.m. tomorrow because of a chance for snow. Right now the general range is looking to be about 1 to 3 inches of snow, but I think some of the mountain tops could see about 3 to 5 inches. So that's including the Beach Mountain area up to Sugar Mountain as well. A chunk of clouds is going to be on and off throughout the day, so that means at times you can have beautiful sunny sky like we're dealing with right now, and at times it can get a little bit cloudier, kind of like yesterday. From about 1 to 4 is where we have a chance for a wintry mix for the high country. From 4 to 8 is really where the snow takes over, and then on and off through the overnight we'll have some bursts of heavier snow. By about sunrise tomorrow we'll just have some lingering flurries along the Tennessee border, just barely spitting, but I think most of our accumulations are going to be done by that point. But as I mentioned, Saturday is the warmest day. it is also my pick of the week because no other day compares to this one, and I'll prove it to you. Check it out. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows the warm up today, then the cool down, up to 60 degrees, staying above freezing all weekend long, but Sunday's the transition day. That's where we filter in colder air, likely getting colder through the afternoon. That brings our low to 20 degrees on Monday. That will be the coldest morning of the season, and not even making it to 40 degrees on Monday. At least it'll be on the sunnier side of things. Majestic, what do we need to know about traffic so far? Good, bad, okay?
We've seen better days. We can see that. We can definitely say that. Want to start with just a couple of our live cameras. This is coming in from the mountains. Look at how pretty it is. This is out there in Blowing Rock. Now, again, most of the main roads, they all look okay. It's going to be those side roads, those sidewalks, driveways, where we do still have some icy conditions. So just make sure you're driving with caution if you're heading out the door this morning. South Carolina, good morning. This is coming in from York County. Pretty typical for this time of the day, a little bit of a backup, but no big concerns. Feeling like it's 30 degrees though, so grab those layers as you're heading out the door this morning. Do want to let you know about a few things that I'm watching for you carefully. Out there just northwest of Charlotte, we have a crash right here, Berkshire Boulevard at Lucia Riverbend Highway. It's about a 4-mile backup. Notice that it's going right over the bridge. A bridge accident right there. Another bridge accident just to the south of it. This one is now labeled as a serious accident on Highway 27 east at Catawba River Bridge. So keep that in mind. Sometimes those bridges can get a little slick at times, so slow it down, drive with caution. We'll have another check on those roads coming up for you here soon.
7:41 right now on WCNC Plus. Holiday shipping is surging, but grounded planes could throw a wrench in deliveries. Will your packages make it on time? We'll take a look. Holiday shopping is in full swing, making this the busiest time for UPS and FedEx.
After a deadly UPS cargo plane crashed in Kentucky last month, the FAA grounded several larger planes, sidelining about 9% of UPS flights and 4% of FedEx planes. Experts warn this could lead to holiday delivery delays.
And some of those packages that would be on those airplanes are now going into trucks. But now, instead of an airport worker handling that package, it's got to go to a ground hub, and maybe they didn't have the right staffing at the ground hub to handle those tens of thousands of packages that they thought were going to be at the airport.
There's no timetable for how long the planes could be grounded, but it is expected to be a while. If it's determined the planes are too expensive to fix, brand new planes may have to be ordered. This time of year can be filled with joy and fun, but this season can also create tension and exhaustion. Experts want you to know you're not alone when it happens, accepting that you can have conflicting feelings and figuring out the root cause can help you manage some of that holiday stress.
Is it not having enough time? Is it overcommitting? Is it financial strain? Is it boundaries? Recognize what it is so then you can figure out what to do about it. If we want things to be lighter, if we want things to be easier, we also have to give ourselves permission to delegate, to ask other people to help us carry the weight of things.
She says in chaotic times, it's important to take a step back and slow down. Despite messages that we should be doing more, give yourself permission to do less, and that can help a lot with alleviating the stress.
Well, in this deep cold, millions of Americans are turning up the thermostat. Already, that is bringing sticker shock as energy prices jump this winter. NBC's Tom Costello has more on how you can manage the rising heat costs.
With much of the country in winter's grip, the boiling point for many Americans is simply staying warm.
So our bill was $830 last month. It's $1,253 this month. Tell me how.
Turning to TikTok to vent.
Why is it so expensive?
The cost of heating our homes projected to rise 7.6% this winter. $54 more for families heating with gas, up $100, 10% for those heating with electricity. The average home heating bill for the entire winter, $976, rising more than double the rate of inflation. In Metro Boston, Ethel Sykes lives on a fixed income and is struggling to stay warm.
The cost has never been like this before. It's worse.
Ethel is getting heating assistance through the Action for Boston Community Development, part of the Low-Income Energy Assistance Program available in most states. To keep your home warm and costs down, experts recommend changing the furnace filters to maximize warm airflow, insulating attics, crawl spaces, and pipes, sealing windows with weather stripping or plastic film insulation kits, using space heaters that have tip-over cutoff switches, and keep your thermostat at sweater warm, not t-shirt warm. The good news, the cost of heating propane and oil are down roughly $60 this winter.
You have to be warm. And you have to eat. So you improvise.
Was NBC's Tom Costello. Well, the cold weather may not make you sick, but the conditions around it just might. What doctors say is the real risk this season. This week's cold weather may have some feeling under the weather. Despite traditional thinking, doctors say the cold weather itself does not cause sickness, but conditions like dry air, being around more people indoors, and viruses flourishing in colder environments can increase chances of getting an illness and spreading it to others.
While the cold doesn't cause you to get sick, the cold creates situations where we have a greater chance of encountering a virus and then have a lesser chance of being able to keep it out of our bodies and defend ourselves.
Dr. William Brady, who you saw there, says you should wash your hands often or use hand sanitizer, avoid touching your face, and staying home when you're sick can keep you and others safe and healthy during the colder winter months. All right, Chris, the good news for us, you said, is that we're going to be into the 50s today, but maybe not so great is the wind.
Yeah, the winds are never a treat, even when you have sunshine, but at least we are in the 50s, so we got to take what we can get. As far as our flu index goes, so right now we're under the sporadic range, so that means it's just the beginning where you have some cases. However, South Carolina is almost on the threshold, becoming a little more local. Once it becomes regional, that means a lot of people are getting sick, and most likely a lot of your coworkers aren't at work. 32 degrees, that is our current dew point right now. A dew point is a good judgment about how low our temperatures can go, because a temperature can't go below the dew point, because once it meets that, then the air is completely saturated at that point. Anytime a dew point is below 30, it's super dry, and that can also be mistaken as like, oh no, I'm getting sick. Well, it's okay today, but over the last few days, it's actually been much drier. So if you had that scratchy throat, it's likely because of these down dew points, and it's going to get a lot drier heading into tomorrow and especially later on next week, because look where our dew point's going to go. Down to 8 degrees on Monday. So that's extra staticky hair, dry skin, chapped lips, not all the things that you want. But as far as moisture goes, it's actually today and your Saturday that is some of the higher dew points for this time of year, where it's really no dry air problem. So that's some of the problematic things that we usually have for this time of the year. Another thing to mention is the winter weather alert that we have. So more snow expected for the North Carolina mountains. Anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow is likely to fall. So we could have some similar totals to what we just recently had, where those range about 3 to 4 inches from Banner Elk to over in Todd, North Carolina to Jefferson. I think it will be a little bit close to about that 2 to 3 inch range, but certain communities above 4,000 feet could reach about that 3 to 5 inch range before this is all said and done. So really just keep that in mind. For our long range forecast, I wanted to show you where temperatures go, because we've been talking about the big drop. Starting with our lows, this is going to be the coldest morning of the season so far, and that's the 20-degree point that we dropped down to on Monday. Any sort of wind is still going to create some wind chills down through the teens, even the single digits beginning your Monday. So that one separates itself from all the rest. And then we start to see a nice little comeback for our lows. That means we have something to look forward to for our highs as well. So our high temperatures aren't going to settle in the upper 30s for long. We're right back to the lower to the mid 50s, even around 60 degrees a week before Christmas. So at least we're seeing more of those bigger, warmer spikes compared to just pretty much flatlining either side of 40 degrees. So a little bit of hope, Majestic, and that's all we can get. What's going on the roads this morning?
We'll take what we can get, that's for sure. Let's get to it. If you are heading out the door this morning, area roadways are looking all right. Little sunshine for that morning commute always helps. It's chilly though, feeling like it's 30 degrees for that morning commute. Want to still break down a few things that I'm really keeping a close eye on for you this morning. Can only get to a few right now, but this is going to be a big one. Lucia Riverbend Highway. We have an accident there, and it's actually backing up even more. So really over 4 miles of a backup. It's going to be at Brookshire Boulevard. So really going over the bridge, and they've specifically put in some notes that bridges are getting a little iced over at times this morning. So if you're traveling most of the roads in and around Charlotte, it's fine. We're seeing those temperatures above freezing, but it will be those bridges that you need to just be mindful of. This one here, they've even labeled it as a serious accident. Again, going over a bridge at Catawba River Bridge right there. It's backed up to Hawthorne Street. And then finally, this is going to be an accident here. A lane is blocked because of a crash. I-85 northbound at exit 23. That's Main Street. It's out towards McAdamville, Lowell. We'll have another update on traffic with a few more new accidents coming up for you in just a few.
Right now, the Magical Toy Drive is still underway. A big thanks to everyone who's donated so far, and there's still time for you to donate if you'd like to show your support. Just bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk between now and Sunday. For more ways on how to donate, just scan that QR code. You see it on the right side of your screen.
It's that time of morning. Time to check in with Ginger, our elf on the shelf this morning. And today, with all those windy conditions, Chris and Majestic said, you know what, guys? We need some help. So Ginger, being the giver that she is over there taking a check of the temperature right now. I don't believe it's 80 degrees in the studio like that.
I wish.
Ginger, I think your thermometer's off a bit, just a bit though. But I know Chris and Majestic, happy to have her assist over there in the Weather Center. Of course, she's always up to something every single morning with us right here on WCNC Plus. So let us know what your elf is up to. We'd love to see it. Text us 704-329-3600.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus.
Wind ranges have different names. Whenever you have persistent winds about 25 to 31 miles per hour, that is categorized as a strong wind. And we're going to have that on and off throughout the day. Even some gusts as high as 40 miles per hour down to a moderate breeze still sustained for your Thursday. So I think it's better to do any outdoor decorating if that is your plan tomorrow compared to being way too windy and very frustrating, especially if you're trying to put up some of those inflatables. 53 degrees, that's our high today, so at least we have the sunshine and high temperatures in the lower 50s. However, the winds are still going to make it feel like the 40s throughout the afternoon, but at least we got some sunshine mixing throughout the day. Tonight, 34 degrees. We're back to the upper 30s, but just letting you know, up in the high country, we'll have some low impacts because of some accumulating snow. We're a little bit cooler Thursday, Friday, back to 60 on Saturday. Monday is the coldest day of the week. Majestic, what do we need to know about your morning commute?
Good morning, everyone. It's been busy this morning in Gaston County, especially going over bridges. That's where we have seen a handful of wrecks, so make sure you're taking it easy if you are traveling. Lucia Riverbend Highway, that's where we do have about a 4-mile backup inbound lanes on Brookshire Boulevard. Be mindful of that. A new crash right here, I-77 southbound at exit 8. That's Remounts Road. We are seeing those delays. More coming up on WCNC Plus.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
This morning we're hearing from President Trump as he makes his first public comments about that second stabbing on Charlotte's light rail in just a matter of months. The president once again pointing the finger at Democrats in the wake of the incident.
We brought his speech to you first here on WCNC Plus. The president brought up the recent incident while pushing for more Republican representation across the state, voicing support for Republican Senate candidate Michael Whatley. Take a listen.
What's happening in North Carolina? Two of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte. And it's all run by the Democrats. What's going on there? The young lady from Ukraine, you saw that one where guy from behind just cut her throat on tape. Can't even watch it. What's going on in North Carolina? You need a Republican running that, and you've got to have a Republican senator elected. If you don't, and Michael Whatley's running, he's going to be great.
During the speech, the president did misspeak when he referred to two murders, classifying the latest stabbing as a homicide. However, we should say that that victim is in the hospital right now with those injuries. The public comments came just days after the president tweeted about the city's leadership following the crime. I sat down with the mayor for an exclusive interview where she responded to his claims. Take a listen. The president tweeted the other day, another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. Your reaction?
My reaction is that I think the president has the opportunity to tweet about anything that's done. But for me, my reaction is, what do we do for the city? What do we do immediately for the city? I mean, you probably know our council is looking very hard at what we would do. And so I want to fulfill the idea of safety as a #1 initiative this year.
Charlotte City Council is headed back to the drawing board to find more ways to increase safety on the light rail.
After last week's stabbing, we're learning the biggest challenge may be how CAT's exclusion policy is tracked and enforced in real time. According to police reports, the man accused in last Friday's light rail stabbing, Oscar Solorzano, was already banned from CAT's property. He wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Advocates and employees say the issue isn't the policy itself, it's whether that information is getting to the people working on the system.
They don't know who's been banned. They have no way of having real-time notifications other than what is listed there in the driver room. We are experiencing a lot of violent attacks by riders who have recently been banned, and so therefore there's a pattern.
Current and former CATS employees tell us photos of some banned riders are posted for staff, but there's not a consistent system-wide way to identify everybody who's supposed to be kept off the system, especially on the light rail. With many questions circling around safety there, as stated before, I had the chance to sit down and have that conversation with the mayor. Coming up at 8:30, we're going to hear more from the mayor regarding public transit safety.
Today, North Forsyth High School will be closed as students and staff mourn the loss of one of their own. The county sheriff's office says a student died after a fight led to a stabbing. It happened yesterday morning at the school. Authorities are urging students not to share video of the incident. As of right now, the victim nor the suspect's name have been released. In a statement, Governor Stein calling that stabbing horrific, adding that he is praying for all students in the community and their loved ones. Right now, 3 teens are in custody for their part in a crime spree in Union County. Detectives say between September and October, they've been investigating a string of break-ins across Indian Trail, Stallings, and Weddington. According to officials, those teens are responsible for 3 stolen cars, 5 car break-ins, and 5 business break-ins across Union County. They now face a combined 42 charges. Police have not released the names nor the ages of the suspects.
Good morning, everybody. So here's the way things are looking today. We are going to have a forever changing sky that at times it could be more blue sky like this, kind of a little bit more whitish distant clouds as you're seeing here around Dallas, but it's constantly going to be changing. At times I even think it could be cloudy. And our Dallas camera, let's see if we can see it here, has been on and off shaking. Oh, there, you saw a little bit of rumble because we are 1,500 feet up in the atmosphere. There's less friction, so the winds are moving faster, and then sometimes they can mix down to the surface and be a lot stronger. we're going to see on and off wind gusts at 30 to 40 miles per hour. That is substantial. That means some frosties could be toppling over. You can also have maybe some presents rolling down the road. I'm talking about those ones made of like PVC pipe and sometimes even a little bit lighter. And temperatures right now 38 degrees, so we're above freezing in Charlotte, 36 for you in Lincolnton, freezing exactly around Statesville, and even 35 for you in Boone. That's awesome. It's not a bad start to the day temperature-wise, but the wind chills are going to be a factor, making it feel much chillier. So technically freezing in Statesville, we feel like 26, and it feels like 33 around Charlotte. So on and off throughout the day, I think we're going to feel at least 5 degrees colder with some of those winds, and those winds are going to be gusty. So they're not all the time going to be up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, but at that point, you want to be wearing that warmer coat. So for your December 10th forecast, I think the peak of the winds is really during the afternoon, especially around the 3 o'clock hour. So the lower 50s still feeling much cooler in the 40s. And then up in the mountains, you're just waiting on your next chance for snow, or officially at 1 o'clock, you're going to see a change. And I think it's really between 1 and 4 that your mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky is going to be an overcast sky and even a wintry mix. I think you could see rain-snow mix, even some sleet mixing in as well before it changes over to all snow. That goes all the way until 10 a.m. Really a steady snowfall. We can pick up a 1/4 of an inch per hour during its peak. Our futurecast showing the passing clouds. Here's where I was talking about where at times it could be a little bit cloudier, at times it could be completely sunny. Here's that wintry mix again. The early afternoon to the mid-afternoon hours, full snow by the middle of the evening. It looks like the heaviest precipitation rates right now between about 6 and 2. So at that point, you're seeing some of the darker colors here. Once you get to about the early to mid-morning hours, so let's call that right before the sun rises up, I think you just have some flurries that are flying. Those clouds are going to be tough to get rid of, but then watch what happens heading into Friday. You have a chance for another dusting to coating of snow to push past Banner Elk over into Avery and Watauga County, but there's even a chance to see some snowflakes around the I-40 corridor, even as far south as Rowan County on Friday morning. I don't think it amounts to anything, but hey, you could see it, and that's always a big deal. Rainfall chances closer to the Charlotte area, spotty rain chance on Sunday. Other than that, nothing big. Most of the precip is all going to be up in the high country. Jerry Hunt, Supercenter 7-day forecast. Today, at least, it's nice to be back into the 50s. I wish it wasn't super windy, or else it would feel great, honestly. And a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. I think it's completely sunny for your Thursday. We chill down to the freezing point to kick off your Friday, but then boom, there it is, right in the middle. Saturday is my pick of the week. 60 degrees, gotta love it. And then there it is, 20 degrees, the coldest low that we've had so far this season. By the way, the coldest we've been in 2025, 18 degrees. So not too far off of the coldest temperature of the year even, right at the buzzer. And then back to 50 degrees on Tuesday. But Majestic, I'm not sure about you. I'm eyeing that Saturday.
Ooh, it's going to be really nice. Sunny and 60. We'll take that. Good morning, everyone. If you're heading out the door, conditions are looking all right as temperatures are already warming on up slowly but surely. This is live cameras coming in from some of our mountains, from Beach Mountain, Boone, Blowing Rock, Banner Elk. You can see those roads are actually pretty wet at this time, but a lot of those locations have temperatures that are above that freezing mark. Of course, if you're driving on any over bridges, make sure you're just kind of slowing down. Right there in Banner Elk, good morning, all fine as of now. Do want to let you know about a few crashes that I have for you this morning. You can see we have a handful of ongoing wrecks. This one is still not cleared yet. It's going to be out towards Lucia Riverbend Highway. It's over 4 miles of a backup on Brookshire Boulevard, so inbound lanes, that stop and go traffic. This is a newer one. I-77 southbound, exit 8. That's Remount Road. That's where we do have some delays there. And then Shopton Road. If you take Shopton Road for your morning commute, right now there are also delays because of a recent crash there on Longmore Drive. So again, following multiple things for that morning commute. This is the last one I want to let you know about for now. A lane is blocked on Mallard Creek Road southbound. Make sure you're allowing for a few extra minutes with this one. We're learning more details. I'm going to let you know next time I see you back here coming up. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. As we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, you know how we do it. Our team is always testing tons of products. We get rid of the rejects, only show you the best ones, and that's why I want to show you this thing today. It's the Tire Hero Portable Tire Inflator. Let me shut this off for a second. Literally, true story, 2 weeks ago, I got stuck on the side of the road, glass in the tire. I barely made it to the gas station. Almost cost me hundreds of dollars to tow. So you need one of these anyway. The reason I think this is one of the best on the market is for this reason. Come on, and let me show you. So let's say you don't know the PSI of your car, you don't know what it's supposed to be, or if you want to inflate a ball, it does it for you. So you see the little car icon right there? You can flip through these. Okay, I want to do my car. No, I want to do my motorcycle, little motorcycle icon. I want to do my bicycle tire, or I want to do a soccer ball or an exercise ball. I just blew these up. The other cool thing about this is this. Come on and look at this. It's got the USB adapters here. It acts as a portable battery charger, so you can charge your tablet, you can charge your phone. It also comes with all these different nozzles for kind of anything you would have. It's small enough to literally, I mean, it's a pretty packed glove compartment, right? Look at that. It still fits. Nice and easy. Got a great deal for you on this today. And by the way, you want one of these anyway. You want this anyway because you can save $60 a year for properly inflated tires. So why wouldn't you? Get this one though, because I think it's the best on the market. $69.99 normally. Got a deal for you today. 20% off down to $55.99. Scan the QR code on the screen right now or go to shoptvdeals.com.
$8:13 now. Chances are your front porch is stacked with boxes during the holiday season. Daily deliveries mean a nonstop effort to break down those boxes and put them in the recycling.
I can't get ahead of it. As soon as I break down 5 boxes, there's 5 more that show up. Esperanza Dash joins us live this morning. She's the Contracts Administration Manager with Solid Waste Services. Esperanza, thanks for taking time. Happy holidays.
Good morning. Happy holidays to you.
So if you're not careful, as I have learned, your recycling bin is filled up just about a day after you empty it this time of season. But I also have learned if you're strategic and you do it the right way and you cut up those boxes and you put them in small little parts, you can make it work. So what are the city's do's and don'ts for those recyclables to be picked up?
So what we would like for our residents to do is to make sure their cardboard is cut or torn into small pieces so that they can fit loosely in the cart. Some of the things that for the holiday that are recyclable are cardboard boxes, paper gift bags without glitter, and plain tissue paper. So all those things can go in the recycling cart.
So I'm glad she said cut are torn into small pieces. My kids like to just smash them like their foot. Some people don't even want to break them down, but it's so important that they have to be, as you said, in smaller pieces and flat and pushed together. Don't just get the gift or whatever, open the box and then put the box in the recycle. That doesn't work.
Yes, we want to make sure that those carts are not overflowing because we don't want to leave litter behind in the neighborhoods. Also, we want to make sure that everything comes out of the cart. So we want to make sure that it's loosely fitting in the cart.
Yeah, guilty as charged on that one too, because you cram it down in there and you finally get it in there, and then it doesn't fall out when they.
Right, you're like, done.
I, as you can tell, I've learned all these things the hard way. So you mentioned what are some of the things we can recycle. What are things this holiday season that we cannot recycle?
So what we do not want in our carts are foil or metallic wrapping paper, glitter paper, bowls or ribbons, things that come on those gift bags or things that you put on your packaging or your gifts. So we ask that residents remove ribbons, bowls, anything with glitter or metallic wrapping paper.
All right, so we heard that if it has glitter on it, don't recycle it. She just said that. Keep that in mind, folks. Are there certain things in particular that you guys see that can contaminate the recycling carts?
Yeah, so around this time, we typically see a lot of styrofoam with the packing peanuts and things like that. Those things are not recyclable. They are contaminants, plastic bubble wrap or plastic film and wrapping that comes in our packaging. These plastics cause damage when to our expensive machinery during processing of the materials. So we don't want those in the carts, as well as soiled food containers. And batteries are highly flammable, so we do not want those in the cart because they can cause fires. And also, your materials should not be bagged. So all your materials should be loose, placed in your green recycling cart.
I feel like I should save this interview.
Right.
So, 5 days from now, I'm going to have this question. I'm going to say, Ben, you should have paid more attention. What do we need to know about the collection schedule? Because I know sometimes it goes off by a day or two around the holiday season. What do we need to know?
So solid waste will not be providing collection on Christmas Day. Collection will resume the day after Christmas. So we ask that residents put their carts to the curb by 6 a.m. And on New Year's Day, collection will resume as normal.
Okay, so that's good to know, as normal on New Year's Day. You're right, we need to save this. And the discussion in my household, paper towels, can they be recycled?
No, paper towels cannot be recycled. The only thing that can be recycled is the cardboard spiral material.
And the center.
After you finish, yes, in the center.
I did not know that.
Hope people in my house are listening to that one. And
pizza boxes
Pizza
too?
boxes. She said soiled food waste, right?
Yes, if it's soiled, no, they cannot be recycled. But if it's some pizza boxes come with like a plastic film to prevent the cardboard from being soiled. So if it's not soiled, yes, it can go in the recycling bin as long as you cut or tear it so it's into small pieces.
Okay, and what about glass?
Glass is recyclable. Glass bottles with necks. So that is your wine bottles, your bottles that have necks with them, basically.
Rinse it out first, though?
Yes. Okay. Please rinse all your materials out because we don't want residue. That is a contaminant as well. So we ask that residents please rinse all of their containers out.
Because here's the thing, if you're going to take the effort to recycle, do it right.
That's the thing, do it right. But also, I mean, even if you're not doing it for the greater good of the environment or your neighbors, we all produce so much waste nowadays that if you don't do it smartly and strategically, either your trash bin or your recycling bin is going to end up completely full way too early. So for your own selfish reason, if for no other reason, you've got to make sure you're doing it correctly because especially this time of year, you're going to run out of space. All right, Esperanza, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you all.
All right, we're back after this right here on WCNC Plus.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for downloading and watching us here on WCNC Plus. So usually each and every half hour, I start off with my longer weather. We try to get everything in here, but then sometimes for the second one, we like to go a different direction, explainer, or maybe just focus in on one thing. This one right here is my 10-10-10 forecast, and I'm also going to look ahead to our 8 to 14 day outlook, where things are going. Well, we have been through it. We just got done with 12 straight days of 50 degrees or colder for our highs. Now we only have we actually include four of the next 10 days that'll be 50 degrees or colder for our highs. Now, as you can see, one certainly stands out from the rest on the colder side and the warmer side as well. 60 degrees on Saturday, and then eventually we fall 22 degrees to 38 on Monday. That's also consequently going to allow our lows to be around 20 degrees to kick off your Monday. That'll be one of the coldest mornings of the year, not just the season. It's the coldest morning of the season, but then 18 degrees is the number to beat for 2025 for our bottom. And then we have the lower 40s going forward for the 18th, 19th, leading us up to the 20th. As far as our next chance for rain, it really looks to be the middle of next week. There's the slightest chance that maybe we see a trace of rain, less than 0.05 of an inch, as we have an approaching system on Sunday, but nothing is really solidified for that one. But we could have an active system. It looks like especially Wednesday night heading into Thursday. At that point, we're talking about a week until Christmas. And speaking of, our 8 to 14 day outlook, and this is brought to us by the Climate Prediction Center, is showing an above average chance for above average temperatures. So by the way, the average will be about 54 degrees at that point. I was looking at other models. There is a shot, and again, this is super far out, that we could be talking about the 60s for right around Christmas Day. Again, that's over 2 weeks away. I'm just giving you a sneak peek into the future. Let's do a peek to the now with Majestic, though, for your morning commute. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. Want to give you some updates on what I'm looking at out on those roads this morning. It's been pretty busy. Started out quiet, but of course, we're starting to see those delays. I-77, I-85 area roadways are nice and dry for you, but of course, going to be chilly as you're heading out the door. Wet roadways on those mountains you can see right there in Boone, but thankfully, those temperatures are rising above that freezing mark. I would say if you're just traveling over any bridges, on ramps, off ramps, just slow it down just a bit. Banner Elk, you can see traffic is flowing just fine for that morning commute, and we're not seeing any pockets of really dense fog. We do still have a handful of ongoing wrecks. One that I do still want to let you know about is here because we're seeing those delays. I mean, they're significant, over 4 miles now. Lucia Riverbend Highway at Brookshire Boulevard. This is southbound, so heading towards Charlotte. We'll have another update coming up here soon.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for today's tiny town, which is a town we mention quite often this time of the year, and that is Beech Mountain, not too far from Banner Elk and Sugar Mountain, and just west of Boone and northwest of Blowing Rock. Beech Mountain, today's tiny town up there in the high country. Here are the facts. Beech Mountain is in both counties, Avery and Watauga counties. Population normally is about 658. It certainly expands during ski season. Total area is about 6.5 square miles. We're talking about Beech Mountain, North Carolina. There it is, sitting as something interesting. It is the highest town east of the Rocky Mountains. The elevation is 5,506 feet, way up there. And one notable spot is Fred's. Probably if you've been to Beech Mountain, you know you've been there. And this is what people like to see. Great for skiing. Beech Mountain, North Carolina, today's tiny town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
And it's covered in snow now. All right, Larry, thanks so much for that. The magical toy drive is still underway. A big thank you to all of you who have donated so far. We really appreciate your generosity. There is still time for you to show your support if you haven't donated already. Just bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and this coming Sunday. For more ways on how you can donate, scan that QR code right there on your screen.
We're going to take a quick break right here on WCNC Plus. Temperatures right now 38 degrees.
Well, good morning, everyone. 38 degrees right now. We're seeing some sunshine, so a sunnier start than what we had yesterday. Letting you know there's one word to describe today: windy. Now, another one is warmer. We're back into the lower 50s, 53 degrees. That's not too bad. Just on and off throughout the day, you could have wind gusts as high as 30 to 40 miles per hour. Here's your wind forecast. Keeping it breezy throughout. Seeing those peak gusts, I really think between about 2 and 5 o'clock today. Still staying breezy through the evening as well. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast does show a little bit of a cool down for your Thursday heading to Friday. By the way, we do have some mountain snow. We have a winter weather advisory that goes from 1 till 10 a.m. tomorrow. 60 degrees is the pick of the week, the warmest, and then the coldest day by far Monday. But at least we rebound nicely after that. Majestic, what's going on this morning?
Good morning, everyone. This is I-85 here at Graham Street. You can see traffic is flowing all right. Area roadways are nice and dry, but boy, it feels like we're right around freezing. So grab a layer as you're heading out the door this morning. Here's some of those drive times if you're coming in from Gastonia. Over an hour because we're following multiple ongoing crashes. You can see them popping up in my map right here. It's a combination of some crashes that we're following and, of course, what we would typically expect, a crash over the Catawba River Bridge.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
Another suspect is in custody for the shooting at Concord's Christmas tree lighting ceremony last month. 18-year-old Nasir Bostic is officially charged after he was released from the hospital. He is the third person charged in this case, along with 17-year-old Kayvon Bostic and an unnamed juvenile. Police say the shooting was between two people who knew each other.
Some new faces getting ready to serve Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. 4 new board members officially joining the district last night. Each newly elected school board member shared their vision for CMS. They also addressed the serious and immediate challenges like mental health issues, equality and accessibility, as well as absenteeism. The swearing-in comes at a time when CMS is advocating for higher wages for teachers.
I believe that we have to continue to make sure we send the messages out so that parents know that from the board on down that students are our priority and our focus on keeping them safe. And so we have to continue to reiterate those messages so that parents feel like school is the best place for kids.
Re-elected school board members Stephanie Sneed and Dee Rankin also sworn in. The board voted to keep them in their leadership roles as chair and vice chair. With respiratory illnesses rising, Charlotte area hospitals are adding temporary visitor restrictions. Starting today at Atrium, kids 12 and under and anybody with symptoms will not be allowed to visit most hospital units. Meanwhile, at Claremont, similar restrictions already in effect and will remain in place until illnesses go down. This will impact the hospitals in Gastonia, Belmont, and Mount Holly. Novant told us it currently does not have any restrictions as of right now.
Right now, concern is growing for a 31-year-old Charlotte mother who's been missing since Thursday. WCNC Charlotte's Autumn Bracey spoke with family and friends of Frasier Baker. They have now turned to CMPD for help filing a missing persons report as they search for any signs of her.
I know she's missing because she would not go this long without reaching out to nobody, especially her son. She's a great mother. She loves her son. And to go this long without speaking to her son, her family, or her friends, this is not like her.
Peaches Johnson is devastated knowing her friend, a mom of a 2-year-old boy, is missing. She says in addition to not calling anyone since she was last seen Thursday, Frasier Baker's lack of social media presence now is not the norm for her either. Family members say she was last seen with a man they describe as an associate.
We don't deserve to lose our friend or can't find our friend. This is very important. So anybody out there watching, anything, any small detail, any car you see, anybody you think that's her, just please reach out to the family, call 911.
Her brother Fred, who didn't want to show his face, says getting the word out is critical. Fred tells me witnesses shared she was seen Thursday night at a cookout on West Sugar Creek Road and a gas station called Quick and Easy near LaSalle Street.
Every morning I wake up, get dressed, take a shower, get dressed, and searching night and day. But we will gonna find her. I'm looking at it as just never give up, because I'm not giving up on my sister, because I know she won't give up on me.
Well, we are looking at a decent day today. I just wish the winds weren't going to be so harsh. That's going to be the biggest problem for today. Also, the sky is going to be forever changing. This camera a couple hours ago, we actually saw a little bit more blue sky. Now some of those upper level clouds are taking over. So what's going to happen is you are going to see increased cloud cover. It'll decrease. You'll see an increase. It'll decrease. So a constant changing sky. One thing that's not really changing too much, the winds. Once the winds get up to sustain about 15 or so, they're going to stay there. And then the gusts are going to range anywhere from 25 to 40 throughout the afternoon. We only have one county under a wind advisory, that is Avery County, but also with a chance for snow. That snow is going to be blowing all over the place. It's nice to see the sun again because yesterday we saw it on and off. Today we see it, but before that it was about 3-4 days since we really saw the sunshine. And all in all, the big story about today is definitely going to be the winds, where you have any of those inflatables could be down the road if they're not necessarily hunkered down. It was actually around Halloween that we had a windy day that was less than this, and the next day I know that was a giant Dracula minion in the middle of the road. So just giving you an example of what it could be like. It could be Santas and reindeers all over the place. So if you have any of those, just keep that in mind. Or oftentimes with the inflatables, you don't have to really inflate them a little bit later on this evening. Now our current winds right now, we're seeing a little spot right around Jefferson that's the heftiest right now. 12-mile-per-hour breeze close to the Gastonia area. And the biggest wind gusts I've seen so far, only about 22 miles per hour in Gastonia. 36 for you in Jefferson, because as that front wedge is a little bit closer, we're definitely going to be seeing those higher winds. Here's our futurecast wind gusts, seeing anywhere from about 25 to 30 by the conclusion of the morning. Through the afternoon, anywhere from about 30 to 40 miles per hour. I think we really hover around the 25 to 30 mile per hour range most of the afternoon, but the stray gusts are definitely going to be of the chillier variety. And once you get to the evening hours, we're still seeing this on and off gusts from about 15 to 30 miles per hour, still staying breezy through the overnight. Now, the biggest deal for these winds are how we feel. Luckily, when you're above 50 degrees, the wind chill factor is not as vast, but as you can see, through much of the afternoon, we're feeling like anywhere from 42 to 47 degrees. Meanwhile, in the mountains, you're feeling like the mid to the upper 30s. The disappointing thing about that is if you look at our high temperature here, 53 is where we should be, or at least how we should feel like. But instead, 53 is actually still feeling more like the 40s. This is why I wish the wind was a little bit lighter, because then we could finally enjoy that 50-degree point that would be back in action. As for our 7-day forecast, brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center, we will have a nice little drive back to 60 degrees. That is officially on Saturday. Saturday, by the way, we haven't been at the 60-degree point above since November 26th, so it's been a while. We will see a little bit of a cool down over the next couple of days, but lots of sunshine for your Thursday, still staying breezy as well. But Saturday by far is my pick of the week. After that, I think you're seeing a changing Sunday. Sunday, you can see temperatures fall through the afternoon, and then there it is, the coldest day of the season and the coldest low, 20 degrees. That's only 2 degrees off the coldest we've had so far in 2025. All right, that's weather. Majestic, it's your turn.
All right, here we go, everyone. Good morning. Look at how pretty it is out there. This is still coming in from the mountains. It's kind of just a tale of two different stories, depending on if you're waking up in the mountains, if you're waking up in the city. Bottom line is that, yes, it's cold, but a lot of us are seeing those temperatures that are above freezing at this point. So that's some good news. Plus, sunny skies for that morning commute. Still feeling chilly, though, so layer on up. You can see this is I-77. Conditions are as to be expected. Lots of people out on those roads, but not seeing any jam-packed areas, at least not there. If you're coming in from Belmont, it's going to take you right around 30 minutes, right around 1 hour, though, if you're coming in from Salisbury. We do have our typical delays, lots of red out there, but also a handful of ongoing wrecks. This one still is not cleared. It's on Highway 27 east at Catawba River Bridge. It is still backed up right around Hawthorne Street, so it's going over that bridge where even with temperatures above freezing, you could encounter some slick spots, so just be mindful of that. Not too far away is this new crash. It's a crash on I-85 southbound just after exit 30 where red is starting to build. And then here I-77 again southbound, still not cleared either, exit 8. Unfortunately, that's going to be out towards Remount Road, so southbound lanes I-77 seeing a crash there. If your morning commute takes you on Shopton Road, we also have a minor impact here, not seeing significant delays or anything like that. It's on Shopton Road at Longmore Drive. We'll have another check on those roads, see how things are changing when I see you back here soon.
8:38 right now on WCNC Plus. More of my exclusive interview with Mayor Lyles. She talks about public transit safety. That's up next. .840 right now on WCNC Plus. Now more of my sit down with Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles. A big part of our conversation was about safety on the light rail after 2 high-profile stabbings in just the last few months. She says the city is ready to do everything possible to ensure safety. Nothing's off the table. Here's part of that conversation. Let's talk about violence on the light rail. It's come up again in the last few days. After the death of Irina Zarutska, the city promised more patrols, more security guards. Are we clear yet Were there extra security guards on the train on Friday night when the most recent stabbing happened?
I do not know the answer to that. That's something that we're looking at. And I think that, again, this is kind of like when you talk about the mayor's role and what I do, this is really in the care of our justice people. I mean, you know, we're Spencer Merriweather, our district attorney, our police officers are looking at this. And I want to say this at the beginning. When we had the most recent initiative or issue, the CMPD were right there and they moved in quickly. There was an arrest quickly. This person is now in the jail. And so I think as long as we continue to do this, we're going to have to think about it differently. But I think that CMPD and everyone that's associated with cats wants it to be the very best, because the whole idea of us having the ability to have the authority to build out a transit system, it means that we have to figure out how to build a transit system that everyone would want to use, because it's a safe one.
Do you feel like the security on the light rail is currently sufficient?
You know, that's a very tough question to ask. And I say that because, you know, it can go smoothly for a very long time, but when there's one bad apple, you don't know that. And so we will continue to thrive for every possible initiative. So we're beginning already among our population to start thinking about, well, what are the designs? I'm really big on this idea for especially uptown as well as the rail system, is that we have to figure out how to create barriers for people that shouldn't be on it. And when we built the first rail line, it was just get up on it and just get on and ride. But now I don't think that that's an acceptable level of safety for our community. And that includes, you know, even uptown in our parking decks. You know, we built beautiful parking decks and people came in to and from work, but they don't feel safe right now. And so what do we have to do? And I'm really high on the idea of let's use all of the tools that we can have, that we can actually have architectural decisions made that might be a bit different. How do we create opportunities for people to build, but to build safety? I don't think many of us thought about, you build a house and, you know, you just had a house.
It sounds like to me you're talking about sort of the difference between, I think, what they call open and closed platforms. In places like New York City or Washington, D.C., you have to go through a turnstile. You have to pay just to get on the platform. Here, it's a much more open system. People can come and go. And is that what you're talking about? We need to revisit?
Exactly. We need to revisit. If we're going to build new transit lines, and we are going to build one because we've committed that to the northern towns, we're going to have to build one that is already planned as a safe space to be.
Would that include retrofitting blue line stations too?
I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but we really are diving deeply into that conversation, and there will be some kind of assessment there.
The local GOP said that there should be closed platforms, but also that there should be a security guard on every train. Do you see that as feasible?
I think anything that we would do to make people feel safe, we're going to have to do it. And so I don't know the answer to that, but I do think that there will be an answer to that soon.
Oscar Solorzano, the suspect in Friday's case, had been banned from the light rail just a few months ago. Mm-hmm. Is your understanding there's just not enforcement of that happening right now, or you're not sure?
I think that in most of the situation, it's where perhaps more people that are doing this understand more about how to do it than we understand how they do it. And so that's where I think that we are going to have, again, differences that we have to make, and we need to do it quickly so that when someone that thinks that they've got a plan, that plan is not going to work for him.
The president tweeted the other day, another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. your reaction?
My reaction is that I think the president has the opportunity to tweet about anything that's done. But for me, my reaction is, what do we do for this city? What do we do immediately for this city? You probably know our council is looking very hard at what we would do. And so I want to fulfill the idea of safety as a #1 initiative this year.
We talked about it briefly, but I just want to go back to Arena's law, enacted in the last few days, cracks down on suspects in violent crime. So far, in your view, has it been a net positive?
Well, it certainly was a net positive for the person that did what we had in the last few weeks or days. And it has worked in that respect. I hope that we'll not have to do that kind of work, but I think that we very much have to look at people for both criminal, how they live their lives, do they have opportunities, but we all know that mental health is an issue for a number of people in our city. I think that we will continue to think, how do we do this? But we're going to have to put more emphasis on, you must stop right now.
At the time, after her death, you said it was a tragic failure by the court and the magistrates. What's the remedy for that?
Well, the remedy, I think, has come a lot of this with the Arena law, saying that we now will have people on the trains. We've moved quickly to do that. I believe that in this situation, even the one that we're dealing with right now, we're going to press really hard on safety with our Justice Department, with our, I don't know if you're aware, we're right now having an initiative with multiple agencies that are safety agencies, so that people can go uptown, have a great time, go to see the Nutcracker and all of those things. And we're doing that because we've strengthened the process of other people joining us in this initiative to make sure that everybody feels safe and makes it possible for us to do this new work.
The mayor hasn't done a lot of interviews this year.
Right.
And I will say for someone who's been a relatively popular mayor by almost every standard, I mean, won 80% of the vote one year, it has been her toughest year, and she says that.
Right.
The criticism she faced, I don't think necessarily just locally. I think she understands that and welcomes that. I think the national attention that came after Arena's death on the light rail, and some of the online attention, for lack of a better term. She goes into detail later in the interview about the threats she's received and the protection she needs from CMPD. It's certainly different than the sort of scrutiny she's faced in the past.
And I think you have to appreciate her perspective in acknowledging that there is no easy fix, right?
Yep.
A lot of things have happened. And as you mentioned, when you add that national attention to it, it only, makes it a bigger issue and people see it.
And one other thing I want to add, because we don't talk about it enough because it's boring, but it's important. And she brought it up in the conversation, is that the form of government that Charlotte has, and has had forever, is called a council manager form of government. What that means is that a city manager, Marcus Jones, runs the city's day-to-day operations. He is the one with executive powers. Council then votes on some of those powers. The mayor's job, not to diminish it in any way, but the mayor's job is to run city council meetings.
Correct.
And be sort of a goodwill ambassador. So she said she thinks a lot of this has been a misunderstanding about what her powers are or lack thereof, and what she can actually do as a mayor. Because people move here from other cities and they think, oh, mayor's in charge, mayor makes all the decisions.
It's the manager.
That's just not the case here in the city of Charlotte. So.
And really the mayor, when there's a tie among council, that's when she gets to exercise a vote.
And
but otherwise, that's really it.
That's right. All right, we're back after this here on WCNC Plus.
welcome back, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining us on WCNC Plus. Now, every morning over on the TV channel WCNC Charlotte, I will do something called One Thing. Majestic and I, what's one thing to know about weather? What's one thing to know about traffic, if you've seen it or not? Well, the major thing that I had was one word for today: windy. Wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 40 miles per hour, and that is going to be the main deal through today. That's why we've been having fun with it. It is inflatable season, so they could be blowing all over the place, down the street even. So just make sure that they're hunkered down, or maybe you want to avoid blowing them up, because even later on this evening, gusts are still getting up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Current winds right now are anywhere from about 7 to 12 miles per hour, with occasional gusts up to 20. Those will get a lot more intense later on in the afternoon. That's where it's going to be the busiest. And it is creating a slight wind chill, 38 degrees. Right now actually feels more like 33 degrees and about 28 degrees right around the Statesville area. Here's what it looks like. Winds out of the southwest. That's why we're so warm today. Still getting an occasional gust up to about 35 miles per hour. The middle of the afternoon, pretty much noon to 5 is where it's going to be the windiest. Also going forward, we're going to have some very cold wind chills. Nothing too crazy though. You're going to see down to about a 13 on Monday and then around 21 for your Tuesday. They also have a wind advisory for one county alone. That is Avery County. Just looks like it could be a little bit on the breezier side, 55 miles per hour with blowing snow all over the place. That's right. We do have a chance for snow, 1 to 3 inches overall. I would say for like a Boone area, and then the mountaintops could have anywhere from about 3 to 5. All right, that's your weather. Let's get right over to traffic with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Let's take a look at some of those roads as you're heading out for the morning commute. It's a pretty quiet start to the day. We do still have our own handful of ongoing wrecks, though. Feeling around 35 degrees, so grab that heavier jacket as you're heading out for the morning commute. It's going to take you around 30 minutes to get into Charlotte if you're coming in from Belmont. Just under an hour if you're making that commute in from Salisbury. Now, as far as our accidents go, we do still have several ongoing ones. A couple of new ones to let you know about right here. A lane is blocked on Independence northbound at Wilshire Place. Stop and go traffic there, and another one here on Albemarle Road at Jenkins Drive.
Majestic, thanks so much. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up at the top of the hour, our Jane Monreal takes over from our live Impact studio. Stay with us.
Two words to describe today. It is warmer and it will be windy. A warmer and windy Wednesday. So embracing the alliteration. Temperature getting into the lower 50s. It's been a while. We've mainly rocking the 40s recently. And that also is not great for any inflatables, Christmas decorations. Some of them could be down the street depending on how light they are. So keep that in mind. We also have a winter weather advisory that starts at 1 o'clock for the mountains. Looks like a range about 1 to 3 is going to be possible, with anywhere from 3 to 5 the further you go up the mountaintops, especially stay on top of Mount Mitchell, Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, etc. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that we get a little bit cooler behind this front tomorrow, sticking into the upper 40s. The pick of the week, 60 degrees Saturday, the big cool down Monday, but that looks to be brief, right back to where we should be the middle of next week. All right, Majestic, what do we need to know this morning?
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Let's get to it. At least we get a little sunshine for that morning commute. It's cold though, so grab the layers. This is I-85 out there at Statesville Ave, where of course we have traffic right now, but nothing too significant. About 30 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont, and still a handful of ongoing wrecks. Independence is slow moving inbound lanes. We have one lane that's currently blocked because of a crash there on Independence at Wilshire Place. Plan accordingly, and another one right next to it on Albemarle Road.